Hello everyone. Timmy, say hi. Hi. Our staff members and St. Albert the Great and I are really enjoying with Timmy since we got him late last year. Also, we love to introduce Timmy to people who visit our office and share our happiness with them. We have so many good words in today's reading. Mercy, love, grace, kindness, faith, and so on. I think all these are the gift of God. Brothers and sisters, we need to be happy with our gifts from our God and share them with our families and neighbors.
So one of the greatest achievements, I think, of our teenage years is getting one of these, our driver's license. If you're over 16, do you remember what that was like when you finally got your own license and you finally were able to drive a car on your own? I remember mine. It was a great feeling, just finally be able to go where I wanted, when I wanted to do it, at least when I was younger, according to my parents' schedule, but I didn't have to have anyone driving with me. If you're under 16, probably, especially if you're getting close to 16, there is this excitement when you get your temps, when you start to take those driver's tests, when you're learning the ways of the road. But we know, too, that there's a whole process to getting one of these. There's a whole process to getting your driver's license. You don't just show up and ask for it and someone gives it to you. You have to take a written test, a driving test, time in the car practicing with mom and dad, with the instructor, all these things. Constantly throughout the summer, maybe in the evenings or afternoons when I'm just relaxing around, I'll look out and up in the upper parking lot, I'll see cones set up and a nervous father or mother guiding their son or daughter through their maneuverability practice. That there's no greater feeling than finally, after all that practice, after all the hours in the car, making sure everything was just right, taking that exam and then hearing the examiner tell you, you've passed. But if you don't earn it, you ain't getting it. And the examiner is not simply going to give us our license because, hey, we're a nice guy, or hey, you were a very nice lady. There's lots of things that we might get as a gift, but a driver's license is not one of them. We've got to earn it. But as great as a driver's license is, there's something greater that we're focusing on that fourth Sunday of Lent, second week of church at home. And that is the gift of our salvation. In the gospel, Jesus and Nicodemus, we hear that famous line, God so loved the world that he gave his only son. Why? Not to make us feel good, not to give us a pep talk, but he gave his only son to save us, for salvation. And St. Paul, in that second reading, was reminding the Ephesians that salvation is not a gift that we earn. It's a gift. It's a gift of God's boundless love and mercy. It's not about what I've done for God. That's what I mean, that we don't earn it. It's not about have we done enough things for God to earn our salvation. It's about what God has done for me. So are we saved? Yes. It's not something in the future that's going to happen to us. It's already happened. We have been saved by Christ's death and resurrection. But Paul is also telling us that, we've been saved. That's not an excuse for you and I to just sit back and relax. We need to constantly be renewing the gift. Just like when you get your driver's license, you don't just get it and you're good to go for life. I know I have just recently, and many of you, go to that license bureau, wait in the line, go up, make sure everything is okay, take that vision test, pressing your forehead against that little contraption and reading the lines and which side of the visor thing is the light blipping on. But Lent, my brothers and sisters, is about what are we doing with the gift of salvation that has been given to us? Because no one, or at least no one that I know, gets one of these just to keep it in your wallet. We get it to use it. We get it to drive in the car. Yes, we keep it in our wallet, but we get it so we can actually do something with it. Otherwise, this gift, if we never get in a car, if we never drive, this driver's license is useless. So in these last weeks of Lent, what I'd invite you to do is to take your driver's license out of your wallet. Well, not actually your actual license. Don't take that out of your wallet. Don't leave it at the home that you're at right now. It's not a reason to accidentally get pulled over by the cops and then try to explain to them that, well, Father John told you to take your license out of your wallet and that's why you don't have it. What I mean is, ask yourself, what am I doing? What are we doing with the gift of salvation? What difference has our baptism, has Christ walking the way of Calvary, has our sharing in Christ's life, what difference has that made in my life? Yes, we've been saved. Yes, there's nothing we can do that will earn that salvation for us. But we can't sit back and relax either. Because even though our salvation's already won, we've got to get out and show that we're saved by responding to that gift within us. So use that license and use it well and live in that knowledge that we have been saved.
Hello and welcome to this second week in our Church at Home Journey 2018. I am so happy to be with you again, and on this occasion, this week, we've just heard the great letter to the Ephesians, St. Paul's letter to the Ephesians proclaimed. And I would remind you of last week's letter of Paul to the Corinthians. We heard and thought about the crucifixion that communicating and sharing our faith can be. It requires self-sacrifice. If we're going to be having a conversation in faith, we have got to be willing to die to ourself and to rise to a communion and a conversation with others. Today in the Ephesians, St. Paul is talking less about the individual and more about us as a church, us as church people, belonging to the reconciled communion that was brought about by the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. This is an important thing for us to think about as we are continuing this journey of conversation and communicating the faith of the church at home. Communicating the faith of the church at home. That's what you're engaged in. And I'm hoping that this call and this insight of St. Paul's is that we are the handiwork of God. You know, I'm often talking about God as a communion of persons. Three persons sharing life and love. That is a model for us in our conversations of church at home. Can we see ourselves as being built up into the likeness of God in communion? So, if our conversations, our communication of the faith of the church at home might be seen as an experience of the communion of God in Himself and of God in the church. I hope this grace of sharing and self-sacrifice and communion will be one that will build up the church in our groups, but also the church in our community.